Thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Pass the Cheese. My name is Jackie. Today with us we have Daniel, someone I met in college. So we've had some people from high school and before that. So now this is, a slightly older person or a slightly older version of myself meeting. I don't totally know. But Daniel and I met in college. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, I believe I technically am a slightly older person than you, so that works out.
Yes. Good. Slightly older people. We like that. We like slightly older. We like slightly younger. We like slightly in between. We like it all.
What's in between older and younger?
I don't know.
Exact?
Yeah. We like slightly exact.
But only slightly.
Odds are you're not going to have exact. So the odds of finding somebody on my birthday born at the exact same time as me is very, very rare. So.
Do you know the time that you were born?
I do.
Cool.
I don't know if I want to say it because maybe it can be used to get into some password account or something,
You do a lot of passwords with the time that you were born? Maybe
I don't know. Look, I don't know. Security questions are getting out of hand these days.
And then people are doing Facebook surveys like they did in the MySpace days, just answering all of them, putting them on blast.
I was truly so naive with that stuff because I was like, yeah, of course I'll tell you my mom's name. I'll totally tell you the street I grew up on. And I just never even thought about that someone could be using that to steal your data. Just because, I don't know, I'm just a very naive person and I just think that everything is fairly rainbows and sunshine all the time. And so the fact that somebody would do harm with that was really surprising to me when I figured that out later.
It had to be pointed out to me as well, actually. But I always went too far back. So it was never anything I used as a password. But I guess if you wanted to somehow steal my identity, it would work.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know how identities work.
I also think that I want to say that I only realized it maybe 2 years ago that that's kind of what that was all for. And maybe, maybe I can make the argument to make myself feel a little bit better. It's because, I don't do that anymore. So I don't even think about that stuff. But I think that there was one day where I was filling in the security password and it was what is your high school mascot? And I was like, oh my gosh, people could have used this information when I was on MySpace and well, I never did it on Facebook because you didn't do that on Facebook when I first joined Facebook. Because we're old enough that we probably remember the original iterations of Facebook. Oh, you know what I should say? I try not to do free advertising for places. And so I should say Facebook and I should say SciMace. I don't know. Although
SciMace.
Yeah. And it had a resurgence after we graduated college. And so maybe, yeah.
So the year I went to or what the hell was it called? South by Southwest, there were huge banners everywhere for it because Justin Timberlake had just invested. Mm-hmm. So they were doing pop-up shows with pretty big artists. And that was the last I really heard of it, only because it was everywhere.
I remember also there was a huge rumor that he was the new owner or something. And then it was oh no, he just bought a ton of stock in it. And then if you actually looked into it, he bought 4% or something. It was a very small number, but we were he's the new owner of MySpace. Oh my gosh.
Justin is Tom.
No one can replace Tom. Man, that man really just lived the dream.
Trying to do his pose.
I like how he never changed his picture ever. Even when he got famous and anything, he never changed his picture.
I think that's his picture on Twitter, which is funny that he's on Twitter, but it's that same picture.
Oh. I don't know if I followed him on the Twitter, but I don't know.
It's popped up on the lists and stuff.
Yeah, recommended, Gosh, what a wild world we live in. So, do you want to tell people a little bit about things that you do? We don't have to talk about job stuff. We can talk about side projects. I know that you have a lot of side project stuff.
I do, and I think it's about to grow. I've got a third thing in the works, but the main two things I do a kind of a chat podcast with my longtime friend, Katie, Lady Loumy's Case of the Case, Madison Road the 29th. PHTAK, the new little, I don't remember, her name gets ridiculous, and that's in itself an inside joke to the show. Her name's Katie Hansen, but we go way back, and we just kind of catch up on each other's lives, and it's fun for me. Just to kind of give me an excuse to stay bonded with one of my best friends that moved off. And then I do a heavy metal interview show called Far Beyond Metal that is a carryover from our college days, which was my radio show that played music, and now I just talk to those same people I played. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's just a passion project I held on to for a really long time.
That's good. That's really great. You know, it's not a far leap to do like radio show, like college radio show, and then to do podcasts, you know, and I think that so many people, myself included, like talk about that. But then like when it gets down to it, you're like, well, do I really have anything good to say? You know, or like, am I as funny as I think I am? So good for you for having that confidence and doing it.
Well, for the Far Beyond Metal, I still don't think I'm that interesting. So that's why I talk to people about their interesting things. And then Blipcast, the podcast, the title is literally Boring Lies of Interesting People. For some reason, like 8 years ago, we thought we were interesting. We're not. We just are, it should be like BLBP. That doesn't make a good word, so we can't use that.
Right. The Interesting Lives. That was Mabel jumping off. Excuse us. I have a visitation with the dog that I got with my ex. And so if you hear noises other than cats, that's that. I have a window in my space, and both the cat and the dog like to sit out and watch, but the chair that I have in front of it, so they can do that because that's the person I am. These animals in my life just rule everything in my life.
You should see the situation in this room I'm in right now. So this is our quote 90s computer room. This is where we keep our computers. There's not like a bed or anything else in here really other than like media. But on my wife Katie's chair is where Geezer likes to lay, or she lays on one of those like lap trays that you can like fold out. Mm-hmm. There's one of those set on the floor over here just like up, and she lays on that. And then there's a bag that we got as like gift wrapping for Christmas last year. Like I think if you order something at Amazon and you get it, or Amazon or something, a foresty place.
Oh, you mean the company that has created the richest person in America, and while everyone else in this pandemic has gotten poorer and poorer, he has gotten what, $85 billion richer.
.com. Yes, that place.
Yeah.
So if you order something from there and you do the gift wrap option, they just send you like in a bag. So she also likes to lay in that bag, which is on the floor. So she's got 3 spaces that are all over to my right. And I set them all out for her. I could give her one option, but no. She has to have all of them just in case.
So yeah, I mean, you know, what can you do with these animals? We love them, so they give us so much joy in our lives. Yeah, it's okay.
Although having said that, she's not in either of those spaces right now. Rude.
See, that's animals. They'll do, you know, you have a whole plan for them, and they don't really give a shit about it. They're like, nope, I saw that you bought this bed for me. I want to sit on the plastic that it came in, or I want to sit in the box that it came in.
We have a shark bed they can climb in, but instead, of course, they got on top of it and caved in the roof, and then that little circle is now the preferred way to sleep on it.
Yeah, that checks out. That's very on brand for cats, especially. I guess this can be technically considered Wine About It. We're kind of complaining about animals that we love. Sure. You know, they're slightly annoying, but we love the hell out of them, right?
Yes. I complain about Dennis so much. Geezy, like, she has kind of like health stuff with her that I complain about, but can't really be mad at her for that. Although I guess Dennis, I am responsible for her being annoying super early in the morning because she trained me, and now that's just life. So that's my fault.
I had to do that with my cat. I had to break her spirit is really the best way that I can describe it, as cruel as that sounds.
Tell me everything. How do I do it?
So I did live with my parents for a little bit after college. I'm a classic millennial. And so when I was living, I got her while I was in college, and then after college I was living with my parents, and they got her into wet food, which I was like, first of all, when we move out, like, this is a financial burden that I'm going to have to take on. So I don't appreciate this. So we should have really had a discussion before all that. But so she got really, she got used to wet food. And so when I, like moving to Minneapolis, my roommate, like who trained who is really the question here. But Ellie knew when my roommate's alarm was supposed to go off. And with the roommate waking up, that she would get wet food in the morning. And so even if it was a Saturday, she was like, come on, TikTok, it's time. Or, if they tried to sleep in or anything. So we moved to a new place and we're like, okay, we're in a new place. Let's take this opportunity. Let's change everything around. And basically anytime Ellie meowed, like we didn't do it in the morning. We changed it to the afternoon or to the evening. Anytime she meowed, I would wait like another 20 minutes. So she couldn't even like associate the two things together. It was a rough couple of weeks, but it worked.
Okay.
And now she doesn't eat wet food really at all, so that was not part of the situation that I was hoping for, but here we are.
Well, like for me, when we first got Dennis, we weren't supposed to have cats. We're still not really supposed to have cats. And she would start like scratching on things like mostly the carpet in our apartment. So she would scratch on the carpet to get my attention and just hopefully save the carpet, get our deposit back, all the good stuff, hide evidence that we have this cat, which is super obvious anyway. I would just wake up and get her to stop. And that just became her move. So now all over our house, we have strips of like they have these special carpets that go on like hardwood stairs and stuff to like provide traction. We have those in spots where she likes to scratch, so she doesn't scratch there, or if she does, it's on those instead of the carpet. And then there's just corners that she's ruined, but now we also have like some documentation for the cat, so it's like fine but weird. And I don't sleep past 6 most days because she's the boss. And honestly, even days when she is fed late or something and she sleeps in, I wake up and I'm just annoyed at her anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, you did this to me. Wake up.
You can't really see it, but I have a like chest right over here. And I had to put aluminum foil on it because Ellie would scratch on it. And what's funny is I've heard that cats either like a horizontal scratch or they like a vertical. But Ellie does both, and I can prove it with my furniture. Like the amount of things that she has ruined, both vertical and horizontal, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, both my cats, horizontal and vertical. Like it's never crossed my mind they'd be one or the other. Like we have vertical scratching posts that Geezer uses, or she uses like one of those. Basically, I think she's down for whatever scratching post we have. She's usually very good about it. Dennis, the chair, she sees the scratcher, she'll do next to the scratcher, on the chair, carpet, no hex given. And we've also tried the tinfoil thing. Like initially when she started jumping up on the counter, we were like, no, this can't happen. So we put up tinfoil. She jumped on the tinfoil and just look at us and meow. Like, no. And now actually, since we got Geezer, they try to eat each other's food when we had on the ground. So eventually we're like, screw it, Dennis, you know what? You can eat on the counter. So this one counter is hers. That's the only place she goes. That's where she has dinner. That cat, oh my God, why? She controls my life so much. I hate when I hear it all on a list.
I know. It's a little, really makes you look in the mirror a little too close for comfort. You're like, I don't know if I really like how this is. Well, let's move on very briefly to our next segment, which is called Pass the Cheese, which is where I compliment the guests. So get ready, Daniel.
I don't like this. I already don't like this.
Something I really appreciate about you is, and this is partially because of my personality, because I'm someone where if I see something that I know someone would like, I'm like, I need to share that with this person. And it's like, it could be 2 years, it could be 2 weeks, it could be, 20 years or something. But I'm like, oh, I have a memory that this person likes this. I'm going to, send this to them. Some people find that weird. And it wasn't until like I kind of, again, took a step back and looked at myself in the mirror that I was like, yeah, probably is weird for some people that I haven't talked to them in 5 years and, I reach out. But you're someone that's never made me feel weird about that. And I really appreciate it.
No, like I know exactly what you're talking about, like as cute animals and otters and stuff. I never get sick of it. I've been tagged in like the same otter videos on Stanstagram a million times, and I'm just like, cool, it's still cute. And I can relate to that, holding on to like little memories and like sending people stuff. Actually, very recently, former collegiate alumni, whatever you want to call them, Laura, I sent her a hat with a narwhal on it because I was like, narwhal, Laura
Yeah.
likes narwhals. This
Yeah.
is like 6 years ago.
Right.
And I haven't talked to, actually, she was at my wedding, but
Mhm.
before that, I hadn't talked to her in a while either. In hindsight, was that weird? Anyway, but yeah, it was just like, look, narwhal. Then immediately I was like, I'm sorry if that was strange. So I appreciate your appreciation
Yeah.
and welcome all the cute animals.
As somebody who has actually, Laura and I have been friends. So this is, I don't know, is it embarrassing? I don't know, but we all met when we were at our college radio station where we were all volunteer DJs. And actually all three of us eventually became core staff members where we got paid to do it. So that's a little bit more legitimate. So instead of like, you know, messing around for fun, we were messing around professionally.
Yeah, it was a job. It was a job to edit those terrible things I made.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've all been friends since then, and I know like Laura and I, we, you know, kind of on and off, like, you know, sometimes you talk every day for a year, sometimes you talk every 2 weeks, you know, kind of thing. But we've actually been talking a lot more during this pandemic. And she actually might be a guest sometime soon on this as well. But I can tell you with complete certainty that she loved it. If she did not reach out to you and tell you that she loved it, I'm sure we have not talked about it, but I know that she absolutely loved it.
She immediately responded to it. She's like, not weird, love it, cool. Why is this hat so expensive? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I did not look at the price tag. I got excited about the logo.
I just like the one thing. I got excited and I went from there.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
That's the most important thing. Well, we're kind of at the end of our time. I'm trying to keep these like 15, 20 minutes. Admittedly, I've not been very good at that time stuff because I just have such a good time talking to all my people. But is there anything that you want to promote? Is there anything that you want to pass along to people?
Promote? No, kind of already touched on that. FarBeyondMetalPodcast.com is where you can find metal stuff if you like metal stuff. Blipcast is the other thing. Why not? HRH Dennis is my cat's Instagram, to not promote the big thing, but just to promote the cats.
Yeah, smart.
The cats share that thing.
That's appreciated. As somebody who's on social media mostly follows animals, I appreciate any and all animal social medias because I just like to look at pictures of and videos of animals doing fun things.
Help us help her make us Instagram money. Instagram money.
We're just going after that sweet sponsorship money, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also realized that I have not promoted the social media for this, partially because, you know, it feels really weird to promote yourself, but I also think that I haven't quite, really thought about that. But you can find me on, I guess now I have to give these people money because I have to promote this, but everywhere.
I mean, if you have the same at thing at all of them, you could just say at the places. And
that is true. That is very true. So it's _the cheese. The other ones were taken. So, you know, shocking that somebody else wanted to do this, but you know, that's where we are. _the cheese. That's where you can find all this. I post pictures of my cheese plates that I make. I maybe will be posting stills of these videos. I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out yet. We're all loosey-goosey and we're all kind of keeping it. But thank you very much for talking to us, Daniel. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. I like cheese. So.
Who doesn't, right? Well, probably people who are lactose intolerant, but who probably like cheese. It just doesn't necessarily like them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.